Let me tell you a tale from Minecraft. A tale of war. A tale of development. This is my world. The complete history of the Ironsberg SMP. Part 1. Here we go. And to start a good story, let's start from the beginning. I started out my SMP, a noble Minecraft player, looking for something to do on the game. Pretty soon, I began to develop things on my SMP to make it the SMP it is today. With the resources, I was able to create my very first creation on the SMP. A creation that still stands today is one of the most valued landmarks on the history of the Ironsberg SMP. My house, also known sometimes as the community house. This house had it all. An alchemist room, an enchanting room. But pretty soon, my village began to grow. Pretty soon, as I was developing the SMP, I found him running through the forest. My friend and the oldest pet on the SMP, my horse, Malakoff. Malakoff and I had been through many battles on the SMP. Some more vicious than others. But the one thing was clear. Me and Malakoff helped fight for the SMP. Knowing that this place would be high in the Minecraft world, I realized it would have to need some security. After a trip to the Nether and dying way too many times, I was finally able to build the piece of security I always wanted. The Supermax Prison. The Supermax Prison has it all. Functioning automatic doors, prison cages, and an elevator that would take you up to the farther parts of the prison. It hadn't been long before my first ever person joined the Ironsberg SMP. Endgamer. Endgamer immediately began working on things in the SMP, and before long, he created his house. Inside were his 3 parrots, Tamus, Blindir, and the other one, I don't know. With the growth of the SMP, the character growth grew too. Pretty soon, the next player after Endgamer locked on. Cookie Criscal, or as we like to call her, CCG. CCG, which is probably which really describes her in her name, loved cookies. She actually built a gigantic cookie instead of building a house. That is how much she loves cookies. And remarkably, this cookie still stands today. After the arrival of Cookie Criscal, more players begin to develop in the Ironsberg SMP. Characters like Meowby, Savage Rose, and Violet 666. Violet 666 started off as a pacifist, sort of a pacifist on the SMP, but later she becomes something much more horrid. Savage Rose would also play a big role in the SMP later, something with a bit with some explosive qualities. However, Miyagi actually wasn't a very good big part at the start of the SMP. His whole meaning was he liked cats. With night setting in, the new members of the SMP began to work on their houses. Some living normally, and others in a bit more secret. Like Violet 666, who built an underground base for who knows. For a few more weeks, the Ironsberg SMP remained in peace. It wouldn't remain that way for long. It would all change when a certain player joined the SMP. A player who wanted mischief, a player who wanted dysfunction, a player who would bring forth the first war of the SMP. This player was Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid dedicated himself to annoy the people of the SMP. But what he did one day went too far. He broke into my house and stole my most valuable possessions. My desk, my discs, Pigstep, and Far. I had spent weeks, scratch that, 5 weeks, trying to find those discs, and now they were in Kool-Aid's possession. Kool-Aid had taken the discs back to his home and put them in the only chest he had in his house. However, as we would soon find out as we went to confront him, that was not the only thing he had in the chest. Pretty soon I came back home and found out that my discs were gone. I was furious. But I knew being furious wouldn't get me my discs back. I would have to assemble all the members of the SMP to get them back. Lucky for me, Violet had been working on something. She led us to a secret base of some kind, which she then told us to climb down the ladder. Immediately, I got some deja vu for back to the dream when I watched Dream SMP. When Errett and betrayed the people of Ironsberg. But what I found down there wasn't betrayal. There stood 5 chests, each with a bunch of armor and weapons. She had planned ahead and made this a while back because she knew there would be a war sooner or later. With this stuff, we geared up and went to take down. There we stood in front of his house, bows ready, yelling for him to come out. Kool-Aid stepped out of his house, said that he would not be giving the disc back, and there's nothing that we could do to stop him. We all told him how we had armor and arrows and all that. He didn't respond. Instead, we're back inside of his house. He came back out in a minute, and he did something we never thought he would do. He stood there for a second. Then he went to his inventory. Crap. That sunglass wearing jerk had blazes. We had to get out of that. But it was too late. All we could do is watch as the next part happened. That's when the fighting started. It was a fight for our lives. Fighting blazes was not easy. We wasted a lot of arrows doing this. But through all the blood and trauma and fire, all this triumphed in the end. Well, all except one. The endgamer was still up against the fight, but in the end, it all didn't matter. Endgamer had died. It was now on 2 canon lives. If you didn't know already, we are following Dream SMP rules. Each character gets 3 canon lives, and Endgamer had lost his first. We all knew we needed to regroup, but we would do it in the morning. But Violet had other plans. She told us to come back to her base, since she had one more plan of attack. We did so, and we were shocked. Absolutely shocked about what happened next. But, Violet, there's nothing here. Violet, what's going on? Hayden, dude, Violet, Violet, what's going on here? Violet? What was that? What was that noise? Whoa. What is that? Ah, no, Violet, why? Down with the revolution! Down with the revolution, Meowgi! It was never meant to be. Violet had betrayed us. And in the process, she had killed Meowgi. So what I do? What any reasonable person would do. Violet ran off with Kool-Aid, who had used up all of his blazes. But that will only bring forth the end of the war. We went back on the SMP tomorrow, and we found a gigantic dispenser T in the middle of the field, pointing at Ironsberg. Meowgi said he'd give us the one last chance to surrender, or we'll release dispensers holding fireballs upon Ironsberg. We did not want to surrender to our town to him. So, the firefight started. Kool-Aid did not hold back. He was flipping every single thing, holding fire charge possible. It missed most of the buildings, but it hit one building. Meowgi's house. It hit Meowgi's house out of all places. And before he knew it, Meowgi's house was up in flames. Then Meowgi started building up. Hold up, not Meowgi. Sorry. Then Kool-Aid started building up from his escape. While I, from the bottom, tried to fire on Kool-Aid. And then, Kool-Aid went too far. That's right. Kool-Aid began playing my discs right in front of me to taunt. Lucky for me, I was able to climb up using the ladders that Meowgi gave me earlier on. And then I was able to knock off the platform, winning us the war. All was peaceful again in Ironsberg. But pretty soon a new chapter would arrive. I decided that maybe I wasn't fit to rule this nation. And soon, there would be an election with new players and a new threat.